How do you stay present in difficult conversations? So a couple weeks ago, we talked about emotional attunement, right? Staying present in somebody else's pain rather than kind of making it about you. So I want to go deeper into that today because I thought, what could I talk about today to kind of take that to the next level? Like, how can we go a little bit deeper into that? Because if you've been watching me, following me, whatever, I'm always saying that, right? Like what's underneath something, there's something underneath everything. So as I was thinking about what to talk about today, I thought, okay, well, there's going to be something underneath how we all react to any sort of a conflict that we feel is happening within a conversation. So we're going to talk today. What did I come up with? I came up with 7 kind of default patterns that we have whenever we're faced with conflict. So let me just back up a little bit. So why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to stay in these conversations that if you're the unfaithful partner and your betrayed partner is upset or they have questions or they need to release something, why is it so hard to stay in that moment with your partner rather than kind of going into that default mode? And we always have to understand conflict triggers our nervous system. No matter who you are, no matter what the situation is, whether we're talking about betrayal or not, conflict triggers our nervous system into a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. And it does that for a reason, because conflict to the brain symbolizes danger. It symbolizes a threat. If there's a conflict, then I'm in danger. Now, again, we're not talking about life or death danger, but remember, the brain doesn't care. The brain doesn't put danger on a spectrum. You're not going to jump more or less if a moped is coming at you or a semi truck is coming at you as you're crossing the street. Your nervous system doesn't care. It's danger. That's it. And so you're going to respond the same way. No matter what's coming at you, your body is going to either tell you to jump back or tell you to run out of the way. It doesn't matter how big the danger is. It doesn't even matter if the danger is real. If you're crossing the street and you think you see a car coming because something moved, your body is going to respond as if that's real, as if there is a danger. So when our nervous system kind of gets into that state, right? Again, we're going to call it dysregulation, but it's that fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode. It's not up to us to determine whether there was right or wrong, whether it was a overreaction or an underreaction. That's not our job. We can't do that. The brain doesn't work that way. If there's a potential threat, we're going to respond. So if I'm having a conversation with somebody and it's not going well, or if they're talking about something that's making me feel bad about me, that's triggering maybe that shame response in me, my nervous system is going to respond. I'm going to go into a fight, a flight, a freeze, or a fawn response. So when we're talking about difficult conversations, remember, the fact that it's difficult means you're going to have a response. Otherwise, if it wasn't difficult, you would be calm. Your nervous system would be like, hey, this is a great conversation. So when your partner is upset and you have a response, that's you. That's on you. That's not on them. It's not what they're doing. It's you. I want you to let that really sink in here. So when my husband and I would have these conversations and he felt good about the conversation, he stayed calm. When we were having conversations and he didn't feel good about the conversation, he would get upset. That's not on me. We all need to take responsibility for our own reactions to the things around us. Okay? As my husband healed, he learned how to heal let me put it this way. He healed his own stuff, right? He became independently healthy. So now that exact same conversation that we had, 2 years into our healing journey, that back then would have triggered him into a fight or flight response. Today, we can have that exact same conversation and he stays calm because he healed his wounds. So he doesn't have that same, this is going to be a conflict, this is going to turn into a fight, and then the nervous system does that. So always remember, your reactions are yours. They're yours. They're nobody else's. Somebody in front of you is saying something that either you don't agree with, you don't like. Look inside and go, what is it about this conversation that's making me feel uncomfortable? Because that to me, that's gold. I like to use that phrase, right? It's like there's gold. If we really start listening to what's going on inside of us, that's gold, because now we know we've got something to work on. Every time, back in the day, every time my husband would look at me a certain way, or if he would minimize, or he would get defensive, or he would get angry, my response was mine. I could justify it all day long and say, I have every right to be mad, right? You're lying, you're minimizing, you're getting defensive. But at the end of the day, it's still my response. My response.